Some migrants who were reported to Mexico under a controversial procedure could be allowed to return to the U.S. under a class action settlement announced today.
As San Diego 6's Derek Stahl reports, immigrant rights organizations are calling it a historic agreement.
Alejandro Serrato was all smiles when he returned to the U.S. from Mexico last week, his first time back on U.S. soil in years.
It was horrible to be separate from wife and young son for 2 years.
The 22-year-old came to the U.S. as a child and is married to a U.S. citizen, but he says immigration agents pressured him into signing paperwork that wound up getting him deported without an immigration hearing. It's a process called voluntary departure, and hundreds of thousands of people have been deported through it over the last 5 years.
This has been a problem for decades.
Attorneys for the ACLU announced a settlement Wednesday that will reform the process, including what kind of information Border Patrol and ICE agents can give to migrants deciding between voluntary departure or an immigration hearing. The ACLU says all too often agents have resorted to deceptive practices. Those practices included telling migrants they could easily sort out their situations from Mexico, handing them paperwork that was already filled out, and threatening them with months behind bars if they didn't sign.
For people who had families here, they were and have been separated from their families. That's why we're fighting for a class of people to have the right to return eventually into the position they were in before they signed these forms.
That's the second part of the settlement, which still needs to be approved by a judge. Only Mexican nationals who meet certain criteria would get the chance to return. The ACLU and immigration officials say only a small percentage would qualify. Derek Stahl, San Diego 6 News.